I've only met like 2 dentists who showed up with a pen and paper to take notes, which bothers me, but I come to understand.
I was one of them, by the way.
Yeah, well, you take way too many notes, buddy. But no, and so I always felt like you said, I was showing up to a gunfight, and they were showing up to a gunfight with a feather. Why? Because, well, first of all, I'm highly trained. I'm a highly trained deal guy, so I know all the questions that I'm going to ask in a very logical order. I know all the questions that they're going to ask, and usually they ask all the right questions in the wrong order, and I know how I'm going to answer that, right? And then also, we're then going to do an evaluation of the practice. I'm really going to see that practice from corner to corner, and so I end up knowing more about that practice than the doctor ever could. So when I was on the buy side and I'm negotiating with doctors like yourself, it was just unfair.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm seeing that and I'm like, man, these guys, they really need representation. And the problem that I was seeing in the industry is, you have all these traditional brokers. Traditional brokers are just, I'm not going to put them down, but they're meant to help you sell to another dentist. But when it comes to the DSO world, for example, or the private equity world, they're in over their heads. And so what happened is they were basically connectors. They would send me leads and then get out of the way. And then the deal would close and they'd make just a bunch of money. And I was like, man, that really sucks. And the sellers would always complain to me and I always felt bad, but I had to remain.
What did they actually
I had to remain neutral.
Right.
And so then, on the other side of that rainbow, you had investment bankers who started to get in the space. I'm not going to name any names.
Very sophisticated level.
Very sophisticated. Yeah. They understand M&A and mergers and acquisitions at a very high level. And so they were able to do much more sophisticated evaluations that spoke to DSOs better and private equity companies better. But then the problem, Jim, was these guys, they didn't really understand how to create that good fit. So what was happening from
did they really care?
Still happening.
Did they really care?
And I know it's still happening is basically it's all about the highest, like driving the highest price. Yeah. And so now, and this is what really ticks me off is, you have a bunch of pissed off sellers and pissed off buyers out there because first of all, the buyer had to spend a ton of money to get the deal done, right?
Yeah.
And they're not a good fit. And so now everybody doesn't like anybody, right? So everybody's upset.
You're just racing to the finish line to do as many deals as you can without really...
And it's hard to come up with a good fit, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, per my count, there's over 350 DSOs, more if you count the small ones.
Yeah. I think with the small ones, it's more like 2,000, literally.
Well, and the thing is with that is they all have a different mission, vision, different operational plan. And here's the important part. They're all in a different growth cycle. So, a DSO that has 3 locations or 5 locations or whatever, they have different challenges than the big DSO who has 2,000 locations, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's just, it's very difficult to figure it out. Plus, if you've never been inside, if you've never been on the inside of those DSOs, it's hard to understand like what they're actually going through, right? And which is why it's hard to make that fit. And so over the years, I've just seen this over and over and over again, Jim, and it fuels my fire.